Hello everybody, and welcome to exercise 1 on the list of final exam review problems. And in this problem we're going to revisit a topic that we haven't talked about for a while, so taking derivatives of functions. And on each of these we're going to have to kind of think back to the various derivative rules that we've talked about and think about which one might apply in our situation. Okay, so starting with part A here, we've got the function y equals x times arctangent of x. We want to take the derivative of that, and we might notice that that's a product of two functions, x times arctangent of x, which means that the product rule is probably what we want here. So the derivative, thinking back to what the product rule says, is the first function times the derivative of the second plus the second function times the derivative of the first. Okay, and now it's up to us to take those two derivatives that have appeared, and if we can do that, we've got ourselves an answer here. So, starting with the arctangent of x, that's a function that we haven't taken the derivative of for quite a while, but if you look back at our derivative formulas from chapter 3, the derivative of arctangent is 1 over 1 plus x squared. Okay, and then we'll rewrite this arctangent of x. We don't need to take its derivative. And then what about the derivative of x? Well, that's just 1. Okay, and at this line we've taken all of our derivatives, so we could stop there. If you wanted to simplify a little bit, you might notice that x times 1 over 1 plus x squared, we could put that together into one fraction. Maybe write our answer like this. Okay, so there's part A. Let's move on to part B here. Okay, so in B, we're trying to take the derivative of cosine of the square root of 1 plus x squared. And again, we're looking at that function and trying to determine which of our rules might apply in this situation. Okay, well, notice that here, we're taking the cosine of something, so this is a typical chain rule situation where we've got one function inside of another one. All right, so we're going to start by thinking of that square root of 1 plus x squared as being our u, asking ourselves what would the derivative of the whole function cosine of u be? Well, derivative of cosine is negative sine, so we're going to get negative sine of u times the derivative of u. Okay, so there's our first step. And we are done with the negative sine of the square root of 1 plus x squared part, so let's just rewrite it. To finish, we need to take the derivative of the square root of 1 plus x squared. And to help us, we might remember that the square root of something is the same as that something to the 1/2 power. So how about if we rewrite that? And then you might notice this is another chain rule. This time the u is 1 plus x squared. So when we take the derivative of u to the 1/2, we're going to get 1/2 u to the negative 1/2, but then the second part of the chain rule says we need to multiply by the derivative of the u, which in this step was 1 plus x squared. Okay, so we're done with the first two pieces. Let's rewrite those. And all that's left to do is to take that derivative at the end here. Okay, there we don't need anything special. No chain rules, product rules, or quotient rules. We can just take the derivative directly. Derivative of 1 is 0, and the derivative of x squared is 2x. Okay, and so without simplifying our answer, we would be done with this problem. All right, and finally, we're ready for part C here. And the question is, what kind of a derivative do we see for part C? Well, here we're looking at a quotient, and so the quotient rule is probably our best tool. Okay, so just reviewing, there was that kind of that little jingle to help us remember the quotient rule. So low d high minus high d low over low squared. So let's write that out. So low d high minus high d low over low squared. Okay, and to finish this, we've got two derivatives that we still haven't taken, right there and right there. We take those two derivatives, we've got an answer. So let's see, we've got 2 minus ln of x. Now we need to take the derivative of 2 plus ln of x. Derivative of 2 is 0, and what's the derivative of ln of x? Okay, if you look back, that's just 1 over x. Okay, then we've got minus a 2 plus ln of x, and the derivative of 2 minus ln of x, that's just going to be minus 1 over x. Okay, over 2 minus ln of x squared. And in a problem like this, we generally don't worry too much about simplifying. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just stop here. Take that, make that our answer without simplifying.